Okay, so I wasn't even gonna post this, but my group chat is like, you gotta get this off your chest somewhere, so hi. I'll probably regret this later, but whatever, it's late and I'm still mad. So, I'm Sydney, I'm 29. I live in this little apartment with a view of the trash bins and a dog who barks every time a leaf moves. My boyfriend Calvin, 31, and I have been together 2 years, which is apparently the exact minimum time you need before you start to realize someone might not be who you thought, lol. Also, for context, I have a sister Noelle who's like, always living her best life 3 time zones away, and a mom who texts me daily reminders to drink water. Anyway, this all kicked off last week, but honestly the weirdness started before that. Calvin's been acting off, but not in an obvious way, just these little things that don't add up. He's been leaving his phone face down. He changed his phone background from a dumb selfie of us to a picture of his dog, which, okay, but he didn't say anything. Then he started saying he's behind at work, which, fine, everyone's behind, but it felt like he was always conveniently too busy for dinner or anything that took more than an hour. So I get sick. Like, actually sick, not cute sniffles. I'm talking fever that makes your bones ache. I started running a temp on Monday night, dragged myself to the kitchen for orange juice, and of course that's the exact moment Calvin texts me. Hey, can you help me pack for my work conference tomorrow? I'm slammed and I can't find my blue shirt. I just stared at my phone for a good 5 minutes because like, why is this suddenly my job? But I said sure because that's what you do, right? I guess I was just hoping he'd notice I was dying and say like, oh, never mind, you rest. But nope. So I'm there, half delirious, sorting through his laundry while he's pacing around my living room on a call. I'm coughing so hard my eyes are watering and he's just moving piles of stuff from one chair to another. I ask if he's packed his charger. He barely glances at me. Says it's fine, he'll use the hotel one. He says the trip is for client meetings, whatever that means, and that he'll be gone 3 nights, not 2, like he first said. I say, that's new, and he shrugs it off like I'm being weird for asking. The part that gets me is he doesn't even say thanks. Just takes the suitcase, kisses my forehead. Great, now you're definitely sick, I said. And he just laughs, and heads out. Not even a real goodbye. Just, text me if you need anything. Yeah, okay, sure. The next few days were a blur of soup, bad TV, and work emails I barely understood. Calvin sends a few texts, nothing special, just busy day or headed to dinner, but never any details. I start to feel like I'm talking to a wall. I tell my mom I'm sick and she offers to DoorDash me soup, which, TBH, I accept because I couldn't even stand up for more than 5 minutes. Then, 3 days in, I'm scrolling through Instagram stories because I can't sleep and I see one of those "you've been tagged" notifications. It's from a girl I vaguely know from college, Kira, who I haven't talked to in years. She's having some pool party at a hotel downtown. I click out of curiosity, not expecting anything except maybe to see someone from the old days. And then, there it is. Calvin. In the background of her group shot, clear as day. Shirtless by the pool, sunglasses on, drink in one hand, and a girl. Blonde, bikini, literally sitting on his lap. Not just some distant acquaintance like she's in his personal space, arm draped, laughing at something he's saying, and he's smiling in that way he does when he thinks no one's watching. Not the fake work smile. The real one. I don't even react at first, just stare. I actually zoom in because I'm like, maybe I'm hallucinating? I'm on cold medicine, right? But no, it's him. Same watch, same stupid tattoo. I scroll back through Kira's story and there's more. Calvin playing some poolside game, Calvin at a bar with a whole group, Calvin definitely not in a meeting room. I feel so dumb. Like, I literally packed his bag. I folded his shirts. I even put those little travel toothpaste tubes in a baggie because he forgets every single time. And the whole time he's just planning to, what? Party? Hook up? I don't even know what to call it. I text him. Nothing crazy, just, hey, are you at a pool party? He doesn't respond for hours. I call, goes to voicemail twice, and then he texts back, super busy, talk later. By this point, I'm so angry I'm shaking, so I call again. This time he picks up and I can hear music in the background, people laughing. He sounds half drunk, like I interrupted a joke. I ask if he's actually on a work trip or just out partying. He laughs, straight up laughs. Then he says, all casual, like he's talking about the weather. That I'm just there, I'm comfortable, predictable, not exciting, just filler, not the main event. Like I'm a placeholder, basically. And then he says the other girl is who he celebrates with, and I'm just something to come back to when he's bored. I don't even know what to say. I try to argue, but he talks over me, says it's not personal, just that some people are good for fun, and some are good for stability, and I'm the second kind, but honestly, he's not sure he even wants that anymore. Then he hangs up on me. I stared at my phone until the screen went black, and then I threw it at the wall. Not my proudest moment, but it bounced off, no cracks, just a dent in the paint. I think I just sat there for a while, not even crying, just exhausted. My dog comes over and puts his head on my lap, like he knows something's wrong, and I just pet him because what else am I supposed to do? I text my sister, but she's asleep. Time zones, thanks. And I don't want to call my mom because she'll just offer to drive down and make me soup, and I'm too tired to explain any of this. I guess what gets me is how normal everything seemed until it suddenly wasn't. Like, there were signs, sure, but nothing you could point to and say, there, that's it. Just a slow drip of weirdness that you ignore because you're busy or sick or because you trust someone. I spent the whole week making excuses for him while he was out living a different life. I haven't blocked him yet. I know I should. Part of me wants to call Kira and ask if she knew, but honestly, I don't think I even want the answers right now. I'm just so tired. I keep looking at the bag I packed for him, like it's some kind of cursed object. I want to throw it out the window. Anyway, that's where I'm at. I feel like I should be having some big dramatic breakdown, but all I want is to go to sleep and wake up with a normal life. I know that's not how it works, but IDK. I don't know what I'm supposed to do next. I just know I'm not doing this again. I think I'm done being the filler. NGL? I'm not sure what that looks like yet, but I guess I'll find out. Not really sure why I posted this. Maybe just to see if anyone else has been this dumb or if I'm missing something obvious. Do people just treat each other like this? Is that normal now? Anyway, thanks for reading if you made it this far. My dog's barking at the window again, so I guess that's my cue. If anything else happens, I'll update. First update. Okay, so, first off, thank you to everyone who commented or DM'd after my last post. Seriously, I wasn't even sure if I'd post again, but a couple people said they wanted to know what happened next. And NGL, writing this out is cheaper than therapy. So, I wish I could say I woke up the next morning all empowered or whatever, but nah. I woke up with my dog's butt in my face, and a text from my mom that just said, vitamin C helps, and then 27 unread emails from work. Life keeps moving, even when yours just imploded, I guess. I didn't block Calvin, not right away. For like 2 days, I just watched his stories, dumb, I know, and checked my phone way too much, like maybe he'd call and explain it was all just a joke or a misunderstanding. Instead, he posted a pic of himself at a bar with a bunch of people I didn't recognize, and then a photo of his dog. So for a second, I started doubting myself. Like, I replayed the call in my head over and over. Was I being dramatic? Did I mishear? But every time I remembered his voice, and the way he said filler like it was a compliment, I got mad all over again. Not just at him, but at myself for being so available. I literally ran a fever and packed his bag like his personal assistant, while he was out being the main event for someone else. I felt like an idiot. The weirdest part is how normal everything else stayed. I still had to buy groceries, still had to walk my dog, still had to text my sister Noelle back about her new apartment and pretend like my life wasn't a complete mess. And my mom, who I finally told, just said, well, maybe this is a sign to focus on yourself for a while, which is classic mom advice, but not super helpful when your ex's stuff is still all over your place. So here's where things started to shift. I was doom scrolling in bed, eating dry cereal because I was out of milk, again, and I saw Calvin had posted a throwback pic of us from last summer with the caption, good times. Like, excuse me? Are you trying to make yourself look like a sad boy? I don't even know, but it hit me. His stuff is still in my closet. His stupid sneakers, his old hoodie, his dumb collection of half-broken earbuds. I texted Brianna, my best friend who is a chaos magnet TBH, and she just replied, get rid of it. All of it. Do not let him come back and act like nothing happened. So I did. I started with the sneakers and worked my way up. By the end of it, I had 3 garbage bags full of his stuff. It was kinda satisfying, NGL. I almost kept the hoodie because it's actually really comfortable, but then I remembered him laughing at me on the phone and threw it in too. I called a rideshare, tossed the bags in, and had them dropped outside his building. I texted him, your stuff's out front, come get it. Don't come here again. Then I blocked him everywhere. Phone, socials, even Venmo because I just couldn't deal with another, can you send me $4 for coffee, request. I figured that was it. Done. Over. But of course, Calvin doesn't do done. 2 days later, I'm at work, trying to focus, when the front desk pings me and says someone's here to see me. I already know, before they say his name. He's standing in the lobby, holding one of the garbage bags like some kind of sad clown. I don't know if he expected me to be embarrassed or what, but I just walked out, arms crossed, and said, you need to leave. He starts going off, says I'm overreacting, says I'm making a scene, says nobody else would take him in after what I did, which is honestly hilarious because, like, I'm not the one who lied. He tries to follow me back inside, and I actually put my hand on his chest and push him back. Not hard, but enough that he gets the message. He grabs my wrist, not in a nice way, and for a second I just see red. I yank my arm back and say, don't touch me. The security guard comes over and is like, sir, you need to leave. And Calvin finally drops the bag and storms out, but not before kicking the bag into the door so hard half his stuff spills out. Earbuds everywhere, one sneaker bouncing down the hall. I just stood there, feeling everyone's eyes on me. And then I picked up the bag and dumped it in the trash room. Rest of the day I couldn't concentrate. My wrist hurt where he grabbed it, and there was a faint red mark. I kept replaying it, wondering if I should have yelled or done more. But honestly, I just wanted it to be over. When I got home, there was a note stuck to my door in his handwriting. It was long and messy, full of crossed-out words and half-assed apologies. At one point, he called me a cold-hearted snake, I wish I was joking, and then said he'd always thought I was too good to be interesting, which, like, pick a lane, dude. I ripped up the note and threw it in the compost bin. My dog tried to eat it. Classic. I called Brianna and she just said, well, at least you got your power back, I guess. But it didn't feel like power, it felt like taking out the trash. Literally. The worst part is, a couple of our mutual friends started texting me that Calvin was saying I flipped out and went psycho, and that he was scared for his stuff. So now I'm getting side-eyed by people I used to hang out with every week. One girl, who I thought was my friend, actually DM'd me to say maybe I should have let him down easier. Like he dumped me over the phone while at a pool party with another girl. But sure, I should have been more polite. I tried to avoid everyone for a while. Stayed off socials, muted a bunch of people, just focused on getting through the week. My mom kept texting me soup recipes. My sister kept sending me memes about men are trash. Thanks, Noelle. The only thing that felt normal was walking my dog and watching him go absolutely feral at every squirrel. Then, Saturday night, Calvin called me from a random number. I knew it was him because who else calls these days? I didn't pick up. He left a voicemail, slurring his words, saying he missed me, saying he couldn't believe I did this to him. I deleted it without listening to the end. On Sunday, I came home from the store and found one of his old t-shirts stuffed in my mailbox. Just, why? I didn't even touch it, just pushed it down to the bottom and left it there. If the post office wants to keep it, they're welcome to it. I don't know if that's getting even or just moving on, but it's something. And if Calvin tries to show up again, I swear, I'm calling security before he even sets foot in the building. If anything else happens, hopefully not, I'll update. But for now, I'm just gonna eat my soup and watch bad reality TV and pretend none of this ever happened. Thanks for reading. And seriously, if you're ever tempted to pack someone's bag while you're sick, don't. Just don't. Second update. Okay, so, hi again, Loel. NGL. I wasn't planning on updating already, but the last week has been so weird and exhausting that if I don't write this out somewhere, I'll lose my mind. This is gonna be long. Sorry in advance, but if you want drama that's not even fun, but just uncomfortable. So after the whole garbage bags at his door and Calvin gets escorted out by security episode, can't believe that's a thing I have to say about my own life, I was honestly expecting things to just fizzle out. Like he'd block me, I'd block him, we'd both move on and maybe awkwardly avoid each other at the dog park, whatever. But apparently Calvin is not built like that. Or maybe I'm just not as invisible as he thought, IDK. The first weird thing was my mom calling on Tuesday morning. Not just to ask if I needed soup, but because she'd gotten a call from my building's front desk. Yes, you read that right. Apparently, Calvin showed up super early, said he forgot his charger, lies, and asked if he could be let up to my apartment. The front desk said no, obviously, and then called my emergency contact because apparently he looked distressed and was pacing outside. So my mom is now convinced I should have a panic button installed. Classic. I texted him one last time, said do not come to my building again or I'll have to escalate this. I made it super clear and then I blocked his new number. At this point, I'm tired, I'm still catching up on sleep from the sick week, and I'm running on spite and pure caffeine. But it gets messier. I start getting DMs from mutual friends, some of whom I barely talk to anymore, asking what happened. One guy, Ramon, just goes, so did you really throw all of Calvin's stuff in the garbage? Like, not even hi, just straight to the drama. I said no, I bagged it and had it delivered to his door, which is the bare minimum after what he did. IMO. He sends back a shrug emoji and then nothing. Cool. Then this girl Jess, who is honestly more Calvin's friend than mine, messages me to say maybe I should give him a chance to explain because he's really upset. I tell her the short version, that he lied, cheated, and called me filler. She just replies, that doesn't sound like him, and then asks if I'm sure I didn't misinterpret. Like yes, I hallucinated the entire phone call and Instagram story, sure. I didn't even bother arguing, just left it on read. So now I'm getting weird vibes from people I thought were neutral or even on my side. Not everyone, but enough that it makes me second guess things. Like, am I the crazy ex? Did I go too far? But then my sister Noelle texts me a screenshot she got from Calvin's new story. She follows him still because she likes to keep tabs. It's a close-up of his dog and the caption is, wish loyalty was contagious with a crying emoji. I hate that it stings. I hate that people eat up that sad boy stuff and don't know what he's actually like. The next thing that happens is I start noticing stuff going missing from the building's shared mail area. Like one day my blue box of protein bars is just gone, and then my dog's new leash is opened and thrown under the table. Not saying it's him for sure, but the timing is sus. I asked the front desk if they saw anything. They just shrug and say, could be anyone, but they'll keep an eye out. I'm not gonna go full conspiracy, but it does make me double check the locks every night. I decide to actually talk to a couple friends in person because texting is not cutting it. I meet up with Brianna, who is still my ride or die, and we just vent over coffee for 2 hours. She says I did the right thing, that people always pick sides, and it's usually the loudest one. She tells me, if anyone wants his side so bad, they can date him themselves. I laugh for like the first time in days, but things are still tense. The next day, I see Calvin hanging around the corner by my building. just standing there with his phone out like he's waiting for someone. I take a long way home, circle the block, and only go in when he's gone. I text my landlord and ask what my options are if someone keeps coming by. He says if it keeps happening, they'll issue a formal warning and maybe even call the cops if it escalates. Not what I want, but good to know, I guess. Then it actually does escalate. Saturday night, I'm home watching some dumb baking show, and my dog starts barking like he's possessed. I look out the peephole and see Calvin banging on my door, yelling loud enough that the neighbor's baby starts crying. He's slurring his words, and I can smell booze even through the door. I shout at him to leave, but he keeps going, says he just wants to talk. I say, "Go home. You're not coming in." He starts crying, then gets angry and throws his bag at my door. I hear something crash, and when I finally open the door, after he's left, my flower pot is smashed and there's dirt all over the hallway. At this point, I'm done being polite. I call building management, report the whole thing, and they say they'll send out a warning letter. Next morning, my neighbor, older lady, super sweet, always gives my dog treats, tells me she heard everything, and if I need a witness, she'll vouch for me. I thank her and apologize for the mess. She just shrugs and says, "Men are exhausting," which, fair. And then, as if I needed more, I get a call from work. On a Sunday. Why? Because apparently Calvin messaged my old boss asking if I'd been acting strange lately, and if he should be concerned for my mental health. Like, what? I don't even know how he got that number. I'm mortified. And now I have to explain to people that no, I'm not having a breakdown. My ex is just a mess. So now I'm dealing with the fallout on every front. I've got people gossiping, Calvin lurking, my mom's stress calling me twice a day, my dog suspicious of every single sound in the hallway. I even considered moving, but that feels dramatic and expensive, and honestly, why should I be the one to leave? So for now, I just keep my head down and try to act like none of this is getting to me. The only upside is that it's made me way more stubborn about my boundaries. Like last time Calvin tried to DM me from a spam account, I just blocked without even opening it. I told my friends if they want to hang out with him, cool, but I'm not going to be there. I told my mom if she wants to worry, she can send me cookies instead of panic articles about break-ins. And for the first time, I actually stood up to my landlord when he tried to give me grief about the noise. I said, "I'm not the problem here, and if you want to keep good tenants, maybe help keep the creeps out." He didn't say much, but he did send someone to clean up the hallway dirt the next day. So, yeah, fallout is the right word. It's not some neat closure thing. It's just a mess, and I'm tired, and honestly, if I never see Calvin again, it'll be too soon. But I guess I'm learning slowly that sometimes you have to make your own peace, even if nobody else gets it. I know this isn't the most satisfying update, but that's where I'm at. If anyone has tips for getting rid of persistent exes, besides moving to another country, let me know. Otherwise, I'll probably just keep my head down, keep blocking, and keep living. If anything else happens, or if he finally gets bored and moves on, I'll update. But for now, I'm just hoping for a boring week for once. Last update. So, real talk. I wasn't even going to post this update because who wants to admit their life is still a mess after all that? But apparently, I'm the main character in a soap opera no one asked for. So here we go. This is for everyone who messaged to ask if Calvin finally left me alone, or for anyone who's ever had an ex pop up like a bad ad you can't close. It's been about 4 months since the whole suitcase packing while dying, plus filler not main event phone call, plus garbage bag saga. Honestly, life's been not good, not bad, just different. I ended up moving like 3 blocks away. Not because of him directly, but because my old landlord was being a pain after the whole flower pot door drama, and the rent went up, of course. My new place is smaller, but the window's actually open, and my dog's happier here. Less hallway noise, more sunspots. I got a new couch off Marketplace, the kind you have to put together yourself and curse at for like 2 hours. My mom's still calling every other day, but it's mellowed out to, "What are you eating?" instead of, "Is your ex stalking you?" She even mailed me a box of those vitamin gummies she swears by, as if they're gonna keep away drama. Noelle visited for a weekend, brought fancy coffee and her usual hot takes on why breakups are good for the soul. She's not wrong, but she's also never stuck around long enough for fallout, So yeah, I thought I was finally in the clear. Then last Saturday, I'm coming back from walking the dog, arms full of groceries, and the neighbor's kid, the one who always tries to pet my dog even though she's terrified of dogs, tells me there's a man crying outside my door. I actually laughed at first, like, not possible, right? But then I heard the voice and I knew, before I even turned the corner. It's Calvin, sitting on the floor outside my apartment, knees up, head in his hands. He looks rough. Like, not just, "I've been crying," rough, but "I haven't slept in days and maybe haven't changed my shirt," rough. He's got a bag with him, one of those ugly canvas ones he always swore he'd never use. Guess he ran out of options. I stand there for a second, honestly debating if I should just pretend I forgot something and go back out. The neighbor kid is staring at me, waiting for a show. My dog starts barking, so I walk up, drop the groceries a little too hard right inside my door, and say, "What are you doing here?" Not angry, not sad, just tired. He starts babbling, says he's sorry, says he's been thinking about me nonstop. says everything got out of control. He says he misses me, that the other girl was nothing, and that he made a mistake, a huge mistake. He's crying like actual tears, and for a second I almost feel bad. Almost. But mostly, I'm just annoyed that he's bringing all this here, again, after everything. I tell him he needs to leave, that this isn't his home, not anymore. He says he has nowhere else to go, that his friends are tired of his shit, his words, not mine, that he doesn't know who to talk to. He tries to stand up, wobbles, and puts his hand on my arm. It's not gentle, it's desperate, and my first reaction is to pull away, hard. My bag of groceries tips over, oranges roll out, my dog barks louder. He keeps talking, gets louder, says I'm the only one who ever understood him, that he's lost without me. I try to step back, but he follows, grabs my wrist, and that's when I just snap. I shove his arm off me, maybe harder than I needed to, and tell him to get out. He flinches, but he doesn't move. I tell him again, louder, and neighbors start peeking out their doors. He finally stands up, wipes his face, and asks if he can just come inside for 5 minutes. I say no, he begs, says he's not leaving until I talk to him. I tell him, if he doesn't leave, I'm calling building security again, and this time I won't be so nice. He looks at me for a long second like he's trying to decide if I'm serious. Then he says, just give me one more chance, please. I say absolutely not, and he doesn't like that. He starts yelling, says I ruined his life. At this point, I'm shaking, not scared, just mad. I tell him, you did that yourself, and if you don't walk away right now, I'm calling the cops. He tries to push past me, like actually tries to step into my apartment, so I step forward and slap him across the face. Not my proudest moment, but honestly, it felt justified. He stumbles back, shocked, and finally gets it. He picks up his bag, mutters something under his breath, and walks down the hall. My dog is still barking. I stand in the doorway watching him leave, and for the first time since all this started, I feel not good, but definitely not guilty. Neighbors start whispering. The kid's mom gives me a look like, want me to call someone? I shake my head, thank her, and start picking up my groceries and what's left of my pride. I call my mom, tell her what happened, and she says she's proud of me for not letting him walk all over me. She offers to come stay the night, but I say I'm fine. Noelle FaceTimes me later, says next time I should just aim for the throat. She's kidding, I think. The next morning, there's a note slipped under my door. It just says sorry and nothing else. I don't respond, don't unblock him, don't do anything. I put the note in the trash with the broken eggs and the orange peels. The fallout's not over. My neighbor told me Calvin was sleeping in his car for a couple nights, and someone said he tried to crash at Ramon's, but Ramon told him to get lost. One of the mutual friends texted me that Calvin's telling everyone I assaulted him, but honestly, I don't care anymore. Let them pick sides, let them gossip. I know what happened, and so do the people who actually matter. I wish I could say this ended with me feeling all wise and healed, but honestly, I'm just glad it's quiet for once. I don't know what comes next. If you made it this far, thanks for sticking with me. Hope your week is less dramatic than mine has been. And if your ex ever shows up crying on your doorstep, just remember, you don't owe them a damn thing. That's it. Maybe I'll update if something wild happens. But TBH, I'm hoping for a long stretch of nothing but boring, quiet days. And honestly, that sounds pretty great.